super excited to do this. We talk NBA MVP. We're talking about Jaylen Brown. We're talking about Wemby. We're talking about Jokic. We're talking about K. We're talking about SGA. We go through all of their cases for NBA MVP. Also, a little hometown work with Myron Gardner and Scottie Pippen, the fight between the Heat and the Memphis Grizzlies. And also Pat Riley, the legend, getting a statue outside of Crypto.com Arena. So a lot of good stuff on the show today. Make sure that you're liking, subscribing, everything that we do so the algorithm, the people, the bots, whoever it is, can push out and we can get some more love on the crossover. So check us out on IG, on YouTube, on Spotify, on everywhere. Go check out the crossover show. With all that, let's start the show. KD, fun weekend of hoops.
Yeah.
We had college hoops on Saturday. We had a bunch of NBA games on Sunday. I think the main game, we had two main games. We had Thunder versus the Cavs in OKC, and then we had the nightcap, which was Boston and LA. Pat Riley gets his statue.
Yeah.
All these things which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Celtics blow the doors off the Lakers. That's where I want to start. I want to start with the Celtics. I want to start with Jaylen Brown, and I want to have a bit of an MVP conversation because JB said that he's the best two-way player in the league, and a lot of people, I think LeBron included, are saying Jaylen Brown is the MVP of the year. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Well, I can understand the sentiment. I can't crown him yet. I think, there's this guy out there in the Mountain West that averages a triple-double, that if he can hit that threshold of 65 games, it's really hard to not give him the MVP. But I do think that this is one of the years where I don't think that Jokic may not get it.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like this. Like there was times where like Shaq could have been more deserving and got more MVPs. Kobe could have got more MVPs. LeBron should have had more MVPs, right? But on these kind of seasons, they're kind of tricky. And what JB has been able to do is noteworthy. That's for sure.
No Jason Tatum, his running mate, that allows him to at least have more open floor because you got to be worried about a guy who's a perennial all-star, who's an all-pro kind of player. But you look at what he's been able to do, like he says, on both sides of the floor, where he's guarding your team's best player, but then he's going out and scoring 20, 30, 40 points a night, where you're like, where has this guy been? And obviously he's been a finals MVP before, but he's always played second fiddle to Jason Tatum. Are we learning now that it was maybe JB all along who just needed the space to breathe? You know, when you open a nice bottle of wine and you put it in the decanter, when you first drink it, right off the it's a little bitter, it's a little bit, it doesn't really taste as good.
You got to open it up.
You let that thing breathe, all of a sudden it's like, ooh, wait, this is a nice glass of wine.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what we're looking at now from the NBA media, from fans, from everybody. Like, wait a second, if Jaylen Brown had his own team, could this be a different conversation? Would he be another power in another team somewhere else?
He would be, but that's not what it's all about, right? Because he's been financially taken care of. I think his last extension or contract was $304 million. So the Celtics value him. They know what he is. It shows a lot about like what his character, that he can, be that Robin to a Batman, and it's not even that far off.
Right.
As far as like the way that him and Tatum play,
because Robin to Batman means it's like a substantial leap.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, Jaylen Brown is one of the best players in the game. He's tough. He can shoot the ball. He's become a better ball handler.
Yeah.
He plays. He accepts the challenge on the defensive end. He's a good leader in the locker room. He's a guy off the court. Sometimes I think people misunderstand him a little bit because he is intelligent.
Very intelligent,
and
right?
opinionated. And a lot of times that rubs people the wrong way. But he has the respect of his peers. And it means a lot when LeBron can say, hey, this young guy is the best two-way player in the game. We should probably listen. He's a trained eye. And a lot of us probably view it that way as well. A lot of us think he's the best two-way player in the game.
Yeah, because you used to think of Kawhi, one of the best two-way players in the NBA. Hit back in his day, Klay Thompson was lockdown. Like people that watch the NBA now, younger kids growing up, like maybe
they forget how athletic
how great Klay was on both sides of the floor, where he was a demon on defense.
Yeah.
Like you could not get past Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, and we had this discussion last week about the Celtics. We had a pretty long discussion about it. Joe Mazzulla, the entire front office, like what they've been able to do without Jason Tatum.
It's remarkable.
Has been insane. Like I know there's probably a couple guys ahead of him for Coach of the Year, but the coaching job that Joe Mazzulla's done has been incredible. Mitch Johnson over in San Antonio has had a hell of a year.
Mitch is doing great.
we'll talk about Wemby and the Spurs in a little bit. JB up in Detroit's been doing a great job with a team that has been hurt, kind of in and out of the lineup, but really turning Cade into a star who we'll talk about in a little bit. But what Mazzulla's been able to do with basically one hand tied behind his back, a guy who you said had a $300 million contract, tore his Achilles, he's out, even though he may come back. Peyton Pritchard's a dog.
He is.
30 off the bench.
I got a question for you. Do you think it's off the wall that Reggie Miller compared Caitlin Clark to Pritchard?
To Peyton Pritchard?
After kind of seeing, what he's doing.
I've always been a Peyton Pritchard fan. I get the reason why there was uproar as far as why Reggie said it. I don't think Reggie was thinking, damn, let me put one of the top tier stars in the game so that people can have some sort of connection point to like, oh, she's Steph Curry. She's, whatever. But when he said Peyton Pritchard, I was like, Peyton's a nice point guard.
Peyton is nice. And Caitlin is nice.
He can shoot. He can get to the bucket. He can pass. He can do everything in the way that she can, in the W. But I understand where Reggie wanted to go. He wanted to make like a counterculture kind of point instead of saying like, oh, she's Luka, oh, she's Ant, oh, she's whatever, SGA. He kind of tried to go avant-garde there, and it kind of hurt him.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. No, I wanted your perspective on that because, just seeing what he's doing right now.
He's nice.
It's not an insult.
No.
The kid is nice. He's a coach's kid. He's competitive. He works on his game. He's gotten better every year. He's changed himself from a guy coming off the bench and being a spark plug and making plays to
Scrappy
being able
guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's just growing and developing every year. You got to tip your hat to like the development infrastructure that the Celtics have. They are doing a fantastic job cultivating and developing their
What they did with Derek White too.
They've done it with everybody. They've done it on every level. They've done it, through multiple decades.
Yeah, you've been there. You've seen exactly how it works.
They really have this feeling. When you go to the Celtics parquet and you go in the practice facility or you go to the arena or you're walking around in the city, it's a mystique being a Celtic. It really is. And I never experienced anything like that. I think playing with the Heat was awesome. Of course, being from South Florida, that was great. But it's a certain mystique that comes like when you play for the Lakers or the Celtics or the Knicks. It's something that like connects you and bonds you with the city.
The Bulls probably too.
Well, not as much anymore.
But back in the day,
of course, back in the days. But I'm talking about those three organizations. Like you really feel the essence of the city.
Yeah, Mazzulla's just doing such an incredible job, man. Because if you tell me Luka, LeBron both playing and they get smacked.
Yeah.
And it's like, oof.
You know what? Beverly Hills, might have something to do with that.
The Beverly Hills fever?
They treated JB pretty bad during All-Star Weekend, and so he hadn't forgotten that. He said that, maybe they're doing this because I'm a Celtic. So he's giving them a reason to hate on them even more.
That he is right now in a bunch of sports books. Jaylen Brown is about 5th in MVP voting, so I want to kind of go up the ladder here.
Okay.
Wemby sitting at plus 2,500 in sports books. Even though, and we've talked about Wemby as a player, as the future face of the league, what he's able to do off and on the basketball court, right? His comments about, social justice and like how he's just very in tune with a lot of different things, working with the Shaolin monks and like opening his mind to more than just sports. I just don't think this is his MVP year.
No, it's not. I mean, and a part of, having him there long-term, healthy, when it really counts, is like to monitor his minutes, right? He did deal with blood clots. He did deal with injuries. He is like an anomaly with his body, so you don't know how to respond to the rigors of the NBA schedule. So I think they're doing a fantastic job with, kind of letting him evolve, right? And not putting too much pressure on his body. They have a lot of good players over there with the Spurs as well. So all of them are developing at the same time and coming together at the same time. And he'll have his chance to be the face of the league. It's upon us.
Yeah, it's coming. It's just they have such a good team around him that even when he went down with the calf injury earlier this season, obviously we know what's been the precursor prior to the Achilles injury is usually the calf injury where something's going on. Okay, it travels down the leg, and then you have that Achilles pop, and then you're out for a year, maybe less in Jason Tatum's situation. But they wanted to very much monitor that calf to make sure, especially like you said, the size of the human.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that everything is, down the line there is going well. But they've been able to keep afloat without him.
Yeah.
Right. And that shout out to Harper and Fox and Castle and Cornette, who's playing great as a secondary big.
He's invented something new.
Yeah. Yes.
He's contesting
at the rim.
At the rim.
While they're shooting. Have you ever seen that?
I've never seen it. Like Luke is doing some legendary transformational stuff with his contest at the rim.
4D chess of. So, all right, if you haven't seen it, Luke Cornette, former Celtic, by the way.
Yeah.
Another sign of a good program, can you get other teams to sign your guys for big money?
Yeah.
And that's what the Celtics, do around the league too. Obviously, the Heat are famous for that. But Luke Cornette goes over to be running mates with Wemby in the front court over there. And if you haven't seen it, go look up Luke Cornette defense, and there'll be somebody, whoever shooting a three, and then Luke Cornette is underneath the basket, basically, or like at the dotted line, and he'll jump straight up, not even trying to contest the shot, just jump straight up, and the shooter's like, "What does he do?" Like, I've never seen that before, before or after.
It's pretty cool. I wonder if that trend will catch fire in the league.
You think that it bothers shooters at all?
You know what? Everything can bother a shooter to a certain degree.
Like if you're there, all right, you ball, pass, you're in the corner, all of a sudden you're open for a three, and then you see Luke Cornette at the free throw line jumping up this way, you're like,
yeah, it's a telepathic contest. You know what I mean? It's a mental contest.
It's like I got you.
It's a mental contest, right?
Like
you've seen verbal contests, you've seen people clap, you've seen people run by people. You've seen a lot of different things.
Hit on the stomach.
Well, that's a foul.
That's illegal. The thing is, they won't call it in the street.
Yeah, no, they don't.
You can't call the in the pickup game.
Yeah,
or in the men's league.
But
the
it does have it has an impact on your job.
100%. Knocks the wind out of you
for sure.
Yeah, that's a funny statement though, Luke Cornette. But with all that, their team has kept that team afloat without Wemby. Like if Wemby didn't exist, that would still be a playoff team.
You know what? I don't know.
They'd be a play-in, but they'd be trying to fight to the playoffs.
See, here's the thing. When you got somebody as special as Wemby, like it just makes everybody better, right? You raise your game up because eyes are on you and things like that. The impact that he has by just being a part of your program, at some point you got to be ready.
Right.
I don't know if you could just, not have him on that team and they still be this good.
Castle's nice.
Castle's nice.
Fox is nice.
For sure.
Harper's nice.
For sure.
Like, they got old man Harrison Barnes.
For sure.
Still out there making things happen.
They got a lot of good players. And look, all the players in the league are good players. There's no doubt about that. But what I'm saying is that when you have a superstar player and you get to step up for a period or a little part of the season, it's easier to do than over the course of an entire year, right? That's what separates like average players from great players. Like average players can be great in a night, right? But they might not be able to be that consistently
for a season, right?
For a whole season when you're game plan for and things like that. So if you got big fella coming back, it's like, okay, let's hold down the fort. Let's surprise some folks. So I don't know if they would be as good if he's not on that roster.
I think with the time missed, even though he's probably going to still have the allotted games that he would need to have, for me, MVP means if you're not there, the team is not good. That's what I think MVP means, right? And obviously, SGA, they gave it to him last year, but he had such an incredible year, and the OKC Thunder were so good that if you take SGA off the Thunder, they're still a pretty good team.
Yeah, they are.
At full strength with J-Dub, with Chet, all the guys that they have there, like that's still a good team. So, but if you take, like I said, I still think the Spurs would be playing in a play-in tournament of some sort to try and get even maybe the 7th or 8th seed in the West. I think they still have that good of a roster. They've done so well without Wemby that it's like I can't give the MVP to Wemby knowing what I know about that.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's still a lot of guys other deserving of the MVP. Especially this guy who I think could be a little dark horse to win. Cade Cunningham, Detroit Pistons, plus 550 on sportsbooks to win the MVP. I don't think like that's a guy that could be MVP.
Yeah.
Just because you look at Detroit without Cade, that is a bad squad.
Yeah.
That is a bad squad. They got Jalen Duren, I know, again, in and out of the lineup, but they don't really have shooters.
Cade's special.
Cade's special.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's special, and that's why I say I think this year you might see somebody like Cade or JB actually be a first-time MVP because what they're doing, it's not just an individual award anymore. Sometimes it's about like being the best team at the right time, right? And all the stars have
being
to
the
align.
best player on the best team, basically.
Being the best player on the best team, but all the stars kind of have to align because like not every year the best player wins MVP.
Right.
There has been guys in the past who have missed out on MVPs because somebody's team might have been better. Steve Nash won 2 MVPs, averaging the same.
Back to back, I think.
Yeah, back to back, right? Averaging what Jason Kidd averaged, less rebounds, and Jason Kidd's team went further. So it's just really about the voters and what's hot and what's trendy in the moment. So I just think that this may be that year where you see a first-time MVP.
It's like in 2011 where LeBron was just so good, right? Coming off, I think, an MVP season already, where they gave it to Derrick Rose, and across the board, LeBron had more points, more assists, more rebounds. He was just better in every category, but they still gave it to Derrick Rose as kind of like, the penance of sins for going to the big three and going up to the Miami Heat and all that stuff. It felt like a little bit of that kind of flavor around what the voters didn't like.
It happens. I mean, it's a human element to it with the voters. And so the narrative during that time was that LeBron, they didn't like the way that he handled
the decision,
the decision, or clicking up with the big three in Miami. The narrative about his team and all these different things. And Skip Bayless was very prevalent during those times as well. And so he created this narrative about LeBron that wasn't true. But ultimately, it had an impact on the legacy. The same way with Kobe, man. Kobe, that one of those years Steve Nash won MVP.
Yeah, Kobe's killing.
Kobe averaged like 36, and in a time where it was difficult to score. So it's just a matter of how the voters feel and if they're going to factor in not only individual but like team success. We'll just have to see how they go.
But you're looking at Cade Cunningham, and he's got the individual success. Just finished off. What was it? Friday. I think it was the night we had just finished recording on Thursday night. He went up and spanked the Knicks in the Garden.
Yeah,
spanked them like. Shit was not even close.
Yeah.
And I think he had a 40-piece, and it was just like, oh, all right. That's just Cade now. Like, he'll walk into the Garden, he'll shoot 50% from the floor, 40-some-odd% from three, and just give you buckets.
Man, those 3 guys, I think those 3 guys are like the next generation of American players to hold on and take the legacy, take that mantle.
What 3 guys? Who you thinking?
Ant-Man, Cade, Jaylen Brown. And also, I'm not going to minimize Tatum because he's not playing right now. But like that core group of guys, I think they're going to be around for a long time. And they got the moxie. They have the nuts. Ultimately to be able to like kind of carry the mantle.
And you look at what the Pistons. Obviously, JB's doing an incredible job up there in Detroit, but Cade is dragging a team that probably has no business being the number 1 seed in the East to being the number 1 seed in the East. Like, Ivy shipped him out. He's gone. Who do you really have on that squad?
You got Tobias Harris.
Okay, you got an old Tobias Harris.
Yep, Tobias Harris.
Jalen Duren, who's been good, but has been injury prone once in a while. Stewart's good, not a great offensive player, good defensive player, good, glue guy, good locker room guy. Duncan Robinson.
It's Cade, buddy.
It's Cade.
It's
they're
Cade.
43-17 or whatever.
He's gotten better every year, and he always played with an incredible pace. Like he's just got a good feel for the game, but he's more athletic right now than he was when he was younger.
Oh, for sure.
And when I say
his
athleticism,
body is filled out in such a way that you could tell he was kind of pudgy a little bit in the first couple of years.
And it's just not the ability to jump. When I talk about his athleticism, I'm talking about his agility, his mobility, his endurance, his ability to play at a high pace for longer stretches. And so you see his improvement gradually, bit by bit, step by step. And I just think it's all coming together for Detroit right now. They're going to be a problem.
42-13. That is not a 42-13 ball club without Cade.
Yeah.
Without Cade. And like his ability, like you said, his ability to control the game at his size.
Yeah.
Like he's 6'8".
He's 6'8".
Point guard should not be 6'8". But his ability to come on the floor, you're not going to hurry me. I'm going to get to my spot. I'm going to create. I'm going to get this. I got to shoot over here. I'm going to find them. Like that is something that it's the one thing when we talk about our projections for the finals that we did last week. The one thing that worries me about Detroit is that when you get into those 6-7 game series where it's like, you've been in them, right? You're game planning for the same guy every single night.
Yeah.
And when you got one guy, trap him at the top, force him to get the ball out of his
deny
hands.
it back to him.
Like,
it becomes more difficult.
How do you survive that if you don't have that secondary score?
He's good enough to be able to try and navigate that, but that's why I didn't have them coming out of the East.
I know. You had a good team who again didn't win, but has been playing well. I think won 7 in a row before the game at OKC.
7-1 in their last 8.
So you've been on with the Cavs. You've been on with the Cavs. We'll get to SGA and the Thunder in a second, but I want to get over to Jokic, who is now he's trailing. So Cade was at plus 550 for third. Jokic at plus 270. They lost to the Golden State Warriors without Steph. Pajemski had a nice little game.
Okay.
19 and 15 boards and 9 assists.
Wow.
They ended up beating Denver 128, 115, I think, something like that. Jokic finished with 35, 20, and 15 or something. Like, his ability to just like stuff the stat sheet with every single kind of metric that you can see, and the intangible ones of the advanced metrics. He's just the greatest basketball player from an advanced standpoint that there's ever been. There's nobody better than Jokic.
Yeah. I mean, statistically, of course, you got Oscar Robinson. And,
Sure.
Russell Westbrook had a couple runs with triple-doubles.
Sure.
And Magic Johnson was an incredible triple-double machine. And but what Jokic is doing, it's transformational. It's trailblazing. We've never seen a point center be able to impact the game in all these different facets. And play the way that he plays. Like I've never seen a center play the way that Jokic plays. He's something that we've never seen before with the way that he plays and functions within the game. And man, I sit back and I really enjoy it. I really do, because it's not just his gameplay, it's also his demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his teammates love him, his family loves him, his country loves him. He has other passions outside of basketball.
Horse racing.
Yeah, he's a real cool guy.
He's always like this. Yeah. Always even.
Well, he'll turn up if he needs to. He don't never necessarily turn down. But also, you have to look at the way that your peers talk about you. When you talk about like international players, right? Jokic is a guy who nobody has anything bad to say about him as a player in the way that he competes. Now, they might question his resume because he's got a lot of MVPs and one championship. So they might like have those kind of shots at him, but everybody respects the way that he hoops.
Yeah, right.
And that's really, when you ask around about a lot of these guys who we trying to crown, they don't have the respect of their peers. They might be able to, fill up the stat sheet, but they don't impact the locker room. They don't impact the culture.
But if you get players and you ask them, hey, what about this guy? They'll be like,
tell you, boy, they're going to tell you Jokic ain't nothing but the truth. They're going to tell you other guys like, oh, we going to attack him.
Right, because we know he does
He's
X,
got
Y,
a flaw,
and Z.
Right? You can't just seek Jokic out and attack him. He's good with his hands on defense in the pick and roll. He doesn't block as many shots.
But that's not his game.
But he's smart.
Right.
Just as smart as he is on the offensive end, he's very cerebral on the defensive end, and he plays within himself. And if it's coming off the glass, he knows how to hit first to go get the rebound. It's not like he's just...
Or he'll tip and then get the ball after.
And then he can push it.
Right.
And then he can pass it. And then he can score it. Then he can bring it back out. Like, he is one of the most unique talents we've ever seen in the NBA, and I hope we're enjoying it.
I
hope we are, because it's poetry in motion.
Literally. If you look at his at the assists for the NBA, we'll go 5-1. Jaylen Johnson averaging 8.1 assists, which is big, by the way. I didn't know Jaylen Johnson was averaging that many assists.
Jaylen is nice.
He's nice.
First-time All-Star this year, too.
Nice.
Yep. Quinn Snyder will bring the best out of you.
James Harden averaging 8.2 assists per game. Luka 8.5 assists per game. Cade at almost 10 at 9.8 assists per game. And sitting at the top of assists as a center for the NBA, Jokic averaging this year 10.5 assists a game.
Mm-hmm.
That is unbelievable. That is insane.
It's unbelievable.
If you were playing and somebody had told you, hey, a center's going to average 10.5 assists a game, what would you think? Like how is that guy playing?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's tough.
He also leads the league in rebounds at 12.5, by the way.
Yeah,
over Karl Towns, Donovan Clingan up in Portland, over Gobert, over Wemby. He is averaging 12.5 rebounds.
Yeah, yeah. That's why consistently on this show, what do we say? We say Jokic is the best player.
And Remy said it too.
We all believe that. It's kind of a consensus, even though SGA was the MVP last year. Like statistically speaking, the eye test speaking, he's the best individual player on the game. Now, does the way that he play, the way that he plays the game, does that impact winning on the highest level? Right? And that's the point. That's the thing that he's going to be fighting against in history, because he needs no more individual accolades.
Right, he has them all.
He has to win championships, and that's a team thing, right? So we just got to be careful.
They've tried to put guys around him, and they've struggled with staying healthy in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Aaron Gordon had that hammy, where all of a sudden it was like, man, they're about to do it. They're about to dethrone the champs, and then boom, the hammy pops, and that's kind of it. They had some wars against the Clippers. Jamal Murray tore his ACL. Was the bubble or the year after the bubble?
I'm not sure which year it was.
I want to say it was 2020 when they were making a run in the bubble. I think.
Well, him and Donovan Mitchell had those epic battles in the bubble.
And I want to say he tore his ACL that year. They've also been trying to get him around. Drafted Peyton Watson. He's turning up now. But Christian Brown, like all these guys, they've had those pieces and they've won a championship under Mike Malone. Mm-hmm. But now it's like, all right, can the next generation of that core, added Peyton Watson, added the Tim Hardaway Jr., added these guys, can they take that next step in the West?
I got something to say.
Okay, talk to me.
They need better players in Denver. They need better players around Jokic. And a lot of times, man, when you're able to get those kind of statistics, that ultimately means like you have no help. Right? And they need better players. They need their players to be more healthy. Of course, they can't necessarily control that. But when you look at that roster, you can't. Who's their point guard?
Do you mean Jamal Murray?
Yeah, but he's a 2. He's a combo guard, right? Like when you look at that team, it's just not built to win in the West. The West is way too good to roll the ball out and say
too many good guards.
It's not just the good guards; it's good teams out in the West.
But Murray struggles against these elite kind of guards too, because it's hard for him to cover them. Right? You got the SGAs of the world. The Lucas of the world, the Ants of the world, like that's a tough matchup for him because of the athleticism that those guys have. Yeah. And again, Luka, athleticism in the way that he can control the ball, use his body to move around. Like
Luka does some things, like he's got this one move like from his step back, right?
Yeah.
Where he can like throw the ball between his legs, which is like an unnatural move to be able to throw it like that and still be able to go, and then he can snatch back. Like Luka's got so much, like
his bag is crazy.
Yeah, he got so much,
and he's big, right? So it's like when you have Jamal Murray, who's 6'2", 6'2.5", 3. Like
I wouldn't be surprised if Jokic ultimately leaves Denver.
Wow.
Yep. Like at some point, it won't be about money for him. It'll be about legacy. And if they don't do something to bring, some players in that can help him, in the playoffs, I think he'll ultimately, maybe click up and go where Luka goes, go to a big market or go play with one of his buddies or go play somewhere that'll help his legacy. Because, like, when I look at that Denver roster, even if they're playing well, even if they're healthy, I just don't see them coming out of the West. I know you have them coming out of the West.
But we've dismantled the argument for both of my teams to go out of the
No, and that was unintentional, Tone. I mean, I wasn't trying to dismantle that, my friend, because I respect it. I really do. But when I really look at Denver's roster, they just don't. They don't have enough firepower.
Right. There's too many good teams in the Western Conference. When you look at guys 3, 4, 5, 6, when the OKC 3, 4, 5, 6 is here, and Denver's 3, 4, 5, 6 is down here. You know what I mean? Like that's the tough part. So, and I totally get it. To go back really quick before you shift gears on SGA in Oklahoma City for a second, is there a guy when you were in the league, and we would have the same question about Jokic, right? Who's the guy that was unquestioned at that time? Obviously, take out LeBron, but guys that were of your generation that were unquestioned. Then I want to hear the guy in your generation that everybody thought was unquestioned, that in the league amongst the players, everybody's like, I think we can get through that. We can pierce that armor.
Ooh. Okay, so the first part of it is who was unquestioned?
Unquestioned.
Tim Duncan.
Really? Really?
Yeah, there was never question marks about Tim Duncan.
Really?
His whole time in the league. You got to remember, like, Tim Duncan played, like, in eras where a lot of people didn't consider him the best, and he came out of that thing with the same amount of championships as the people who we do consider the best. Right? So everybody knew that Tim Duncan was rock solid. He wasn't really going anywhere.
Wow.
That's facts.
So like you would get a scouting report. You're playing the Spurs. You get a scouting report, and it was like your bigs were like, "We got a tough one tonight."
Yeah.
Really?
Everybody knew when you played Tim Duncan.
Even
and the
guys
Spurs,
like KG who were defensive freaks.
KG would tell you that like
He's
that
real.
quiet. Yeah, KG would say that.
Really?
Yeah, Tim Duncan had the respect of everybody. He really did. As far as a guy who
Everybody in the league was like, "Ooh."
You know what? I don't want to speak for everyone in the league, but I do believe that there's a lot of guys from our generation who probably don't think Steve Nash deserved 2 MVPs.
Wow. Okay, speak on that.
Well, one, he was fooled on the defensive end, number
Okay.
one. Number two, he like in the regular season, they did really, really well in Dallas. Never got over the hump. Did really well in Phoenix.
Never got over the
Never
hump.
got over the hump. And there were guys in the league during that time who did the same thing, who at least got their, like Jason Kidd, who was better defensively. So I would say,
Wow. I love that though.
And I hope, my guys who watching this, if you believe otherwise, but like Steve Nash is he's a 2-time MVP. Man, that puts him in historic class that, we really don't know if he was
really like
two-time
that.
MVP. No, he was like that. Don't get me wrong.
But like that at the level where he didn't have a flaw.
2-time
like that.
MVP. Like,
All right, let's see.
I don't know.
I'm
That
looking
year,
up
Kobe averaged 36. I don't know if I would have
He
gave.
won back-to-back MVPs in 04, 05, and 05, 06. He averaged 15.
He averaged 15 and got
15
MVP.
a game
And got MVP.
and 11 and a half assists a game and 3.3 rebounds per game.
Okay, so and was a liability on the defensive end.
And won the MVP.
So this is why I like I know they always be like the comments.
The
they've been
second
eating us up.
MVP year, he
Okay.
scored 18 and 8.
18 and 8.
18 and 10.
18 and 10. All right. And then if you look at Jason Kidd's numbers when he was taking his teams to the finals, and he was an all defensive player and the rebounding category.
I'm going to look up Jason Kidd's stats in 04, 05. Let's see where he was at.
Well, it might have to go back a little bit more than that just because I'm talking about his finals run. He didn't go
But
to
even then, in 04, 05, 14 points a game, 8 rebounds a game. We're not talking too far off of 15 and 11.
Right. But we're talking about that
We're in the
MVP
ballpark.
season. I'm talking about the years that Jason Kidd took his teams to the finals. When the Nets, Keyon Martin, Jason Kidd, Richard
They were
Jefferson.
there, what, 2000?
2001 maybe? 2002? One of those early years in my
01,
career.
yeah, 01, 02. He was 8th. He was second in MVP voting, had 15 and 10 a game in 01, 02.
Okay.
He
And
was
they went to
second
the
in MVP
finals
voting.
and a little bit more rebounds.
Ended up having 7 rebounds a game.
Yeah. And
So
this
15, 9, and 7.
This is no disrespect to Steve Nash. Like, because Steve Nash has put in work. We all enjoy him. We like him. We love him. We respect him. But, dude, Kobe averaged like 36 that year. Like, I was on the team with Shaq. Like, Shaq was like 23 and like 10 or 10. And we were the best team, pretty much in the East.
Right.
And so I'm just saying, like, if I look back of the MVPs of that time, I would say Steve Nash probably, you know what I mean? He benefited.
You were right on the money. So second in the first year that Steve won the MVP, Steve had 65 first place votes. Shaq had 58. So he was right there underneath him. 23 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, shooting 60% from the floor. That was Shaq.
And playing with D-Wade.
Dirk, a young Dirk was third. Tim Duncan was fourth. I want to see that. Hold on, that next year. Let me see what that was. That was 05, 06. Steve did it again. LeBron was second, averaging 31, 7, and 6.
Come on, dog. Like, come on. So, like
31, 7, and 6.
So there's a human element to the voting system that needs to be addressed. Sometimes the media hates on people. And, they pick and choose who they want to celebrate or crown in that year. Because it's 31 and 8.
31, 7, and 6.
31, 7, and 6, and then somebody gets it averaging 18 and 11.
4 and 10.
It's how many guys averaging that now? Many
A
guys
lot of people
are averaging, double. It is what it is. I go back to my original point.
Kobe that year, by the way, 35, 5, and 4.
Yeah. And so, like, when we talk about, like, their legacies and things like that, they have years where Shaq should have had an MVP.
Right.
Where Kobe should have had another MVP.
LeBron.
LeBron should have had probably 2 more MVPs, right? And then we pick and choose, and then we make it a team, a team award.
Accolade, right.
They pick and choose too often.
And you're talking about Jokic, where he's maybe on the doorstep of a 4th MVP in 6 years.
Yeah.
Because he lost one to Joel, which he probably should have won. And then he lost one to SGA, which he had better stats last year than he has any other year he won MVP. Think about that. He's won MVP 3 out of 4 years, then he doesn't win one, and he had better stats than all the other years.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trending to right now. He's averaging a triple-double, leading the league in rebounds and assists, and probably still won't win it again.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, we'll tie the bow on it with SGA, who's missed the last couple of games, missed All-Star Weekend. The Thunder are in a very interesting place right now. No J-Dub, no SGA. Chet's doing his thing. They were down AJ Mitchell last night too, but beat a Cavs team that had Evan Mobley, had Donovan, had James, had everybody, and the scrappy Thunder, went out and did it again.
They always do, man. They are a fantastic program. They're well coached. They're well managed. They like playing with one another. They play for one another. They're very talented. They work hard. Like they have multiple identities where when a guy goes down, it's the next man up mentality. Right. So, man, OKC, man, they just got a hell of a program. And it doesn't matter if their guys don't play because their development staff is so good and the talent and the people who they put in position are we have to start saying this now. They're OKC Thunder culture guys now.
Wow.
Like, they get guys that fit that culture.
Facts.
And, hell, look, the trade that they made at the deadline, they brought in another guy who fits that culture.
Right, Jerry McCain. Yeah.
He fits that culture, right? I'm seeing him make plays. I'm seeing him move without the ball. I'm seeing him getting more comfortable, and he's going to help them eventually. And they're going to need that help, especially if their guys aren't healthy.
Do you feel like SGA should be minus 140 in sports books to be the MVP?
Well, he is the reigning MVP.
Right.
So, you want to always start with that. They are the reigning champions,
right.
So you always got to give them.
At what point does that flip, though?
Well, it flips if he keeps sitting on the sideline. And, I don't know how many more games he can miss, but if you don't play that 65 games, you're automatically out of it as well. So I think he's not really thinking about like winning another MVP. I don't think that matters to him. I think what matters to him is that they're there for the finals and he gets to compete for a championship, right? And he wants to be healthy. And I think that's kind of their mindset. You're going to see them like the last 10, 15 games of the season, 20 games of the season. There's another notch that good teams have. They can cruise and play at a certain level, but they can take it up a notch, right? And with these young guys getting an opportunity to play and develop, their bodies will be more equipped for the playoffs, even if they need them in spurts. So OKC is always going to be dangerous because they got a lot of good players, a lot of good talent, and they got the reigning MVP.
The one thing that I worry with them, obviously trying to get healthy at a pivotal time, is the Spurs are right there.
They are.
The Spurs are right there on their heels. I think they're 2 or 3 games back. And what you can't do is not have home court advantage.
Yeah.
Because going down to San Antonio to have to play some of those Game 6, Game 7s is going to be real tough.
Yeah.
Real tough as the Spurs continue to get momentum, as they continue to get experience, right? Like, that's only going to help them. And then on top of that, a young team at home allows you to have the comforts of, all right, the fans are with us. Because if you walk into OKC, that place is crazy.
It's like a college
atmosphere.
Yeah. It's a college atmosphere. And a thing that a lot of people don't know about, like when you're a visiting team and you play in OKC, the hotels aren't very good. You can look it up. They have some spooky hotels.
They have a haunted hotel. Yeah, I heard that.
The restaurant quality isn't that great. It's, kind of depressing to be there.
Are you saying OKC is one of the worst travel towns?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely it's definitely in the top 5 to 7. I mean, they do have a casino down in Norman, so you can pull up and go to the Indian reservation and go play.
But again, that's in Norman.
Yeah,
We're not in Oklahoma City.
I know. But, it's growing. They are doing some things to, bring some life to that city. But it's one of the worst NBA cities, like, as far as socially,
Oof.
And
So
that's
you're saying they're not going to get an All-Star game soon?
I mean, they should.
You think?
Yeah, man. That's how you grow the game. You go to these markets like that. Their fans
But they
love basketball.
But they love basketball even though they're not going to get one.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's just, maybe that'll, boost and stimulate the economy. But
I think there's a lot of people in the NBA that are going to be very upset with the accommodations over in OKC.
Is one going to OKC soon?
No, I'm just saying, that's why you can't put those in those markets because there's the infrastructure isn't enough to have the media members to play, like all of the stuff that happens when NBA takes over your city. Like even in Utah, like you would think, oh, Utah's not a great town for celebrating and for partying or whatever, but like there was enough space.
Utah is low key better than a lot of cities that you
if you can get over the limitations on some beverages, which I see they have the lock on it. I thought that was a joke. When you pull up to the bars, they're like, all right, yeah, let me get, whatever. And they have the cap that seals it at a certain point of you pouring it.
Yeah.
So it's like you get 1 ounce.
Yeah.
And like, that's it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And then I walked into the bar and I saw them. I was like, oh, what are all these things? They're like,
hey, man,
oh.
The state owns the liquor stores out there. It's
that's some sort of communism I don't like.
But it's low key, man. It was a fun, Utah is not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. They got good restaurants, they got good hotels. It's space. They got highways and things like that, and there's a lot of money out there, right? So they can,
especially on the mountains. I heard.
And Ryan Smith is he's an innovator, and so from what I heard, they did a good job.
They did.
We had fun in Salt Lake City.
We have fun, but all right. So OKC basically to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. That's your stance on it officially. Yeah. MVP and finals.
Yeah, pretty much.
To be the champ, you got to beat the champ.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
That's where SGA sits,
and you got to navigate the media.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? All right, let's get to a little homegrown segment here on the Miami Heat. Your Miami Heat beat the Memphis Grizzlies. I want to say 136-120.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know the Grizzlies basically almost got rid of everybody and tried to tank again. But I don't even think the game is part of the conversation. I think the conversation is Myron Gardner versus Scottie Pippen Jr.
Yeah.
How did you see that come to fruition there?
I enjoyed it. Just watching the young guy, Myron, just kind of watching him play. He just, got his contract kind of rolled over into a standard contract. So congratulations for that.
How does that work for people that don't understand, like a two-way into a standard deal? Like
I mean, two-way, like if you play a certain amount of games as a two-way player, it kind of rolls into that automatically, if I'm not mistaken. But when you're a two-way player, ultimately you have to spend a certain amount of time in the G League,
right.
And then also like your compensation is like kind of capped at that two-way level. When you get rolled over into a standard contract, now you don't have to be mandated to go down to the G League, but you do get compensated on whatever that number is that you kind of agree to. So congratulations to him. He got paid and then he lost a few dollars.
I was gonna say, I'm sure that won't hurt him. He said, "Wait, how much? How much is
35 bands?" Like, what? To be more careful, he might not get a check on the 1st or the 15th at his number. But even when he was a two-way player, man, I remember when Klay Thompson came down and played, and he had back and forth with him.
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of a part of his DNA. He like kind of is an agitator. But he actually can hoop on both ends of the floor. Like he can shoot the three, he can get to the cup, he can defend. He plays with a motor.
He's a dog.
He's not scared of anything. And he had the bump on Scottie Pippen. They got tussled up and banged each other before that play. He gave him a little nudge, and I like what Scottie did. He went right back in the moment. He looked at the ref. The ref looked away. He said, "Okay, I'll handle it."
Yeah, that's on me.
Yep. And I like Scottie Pippen Jr. as a player. He's a nice player, man. He can play. He really can play. I think he's going to be a guy who gets on the right team, right program, and he can have an impact.
Backup guard off the lead.
Yep, but it's going to cost those young guys, and they don't make a lot of money.
35 bands off.
35 stacks is a lot for those young guys to lose. So hopefully they can maintain their composure a little bit and compete within the rules of the game and show their toughness without having to lose that money. But if you're going to lose the money, you might as well get your money's worth.
Right,
and I think Scottie Pippen Jr. got his money's worth.
100%.
Yeah.
How you feeling about the Heat? Obviously, a big couple games this week. How do you feel about the Heat and their chances right now? Because you look at top of the East, You're like, all right, Detroit is a good team. They have an elite level player. You've got Boston, who's got another elite level player on top of a great coach with a great program. You got the Knicks, who've got great players, elite player with Jalen Brunson. Like, you have these players, or you have these teams above you, and you kind of look around with the Heat, and you're like, you don't have that guy, right? And that's something we've obviously talked about. Sans Jimmy, like, the Heat are going to struggle to have a alpha in crunch time because you have a lot of Bs, but you don't have that A to really take it. So how do you feel like the Heat, who are obviously anti-tanking, came out and spoke about that and said, sent stuff to the league office about tanking rules and how they shouldn't be able to do X, Y, and Z. It just feels like they're kind of stuck in this middle ground of, all right, we'll make the playoffs, but if we run up against against the Cavs, they might steamroll us and sweep us like they did last year. If you run up against the Knicks or the Celtics or Toronto or whomever, like, you're in for a tough thing, and there's no really light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I think they're middle of the pack type team, right? They can finish anywhere from like as high as 6 in my category to maybe 12 to a play-in team. It's just the reality of it. They got some talented guys who have always been solid pieces. Obviously, Powell this year was an all-star, so he kind of elevated a little bit more, but he's still like on the lower tier of all-stars. So I just think that they're going to, double down on their culture, on their development system, and they're going to trust the process, and I think they'll have an active summer. These guys, if they can stay healthy, they'll be more tradable in the summer to make some bold moves. And look, I don't know if Giannis is going to be that guy for us.
I think we're closing the book on Giannis.
Yep. So,
I feel personally like I've closed the book on Giannis.
Yep. But I do trust Pat Riley and his judgment. And I'm telling you, I saw Pat. He had that suit on, and I saw the statue.
Oh, let's talk about that.
I saw him breaking bread with all his like he's a legend. He's not gonna go out just like
with a
like
whimper.
this.
Yeah.
He's gonna do something. That's gonna shake up the NBA world this summer.
How did you feel about, obviously, being a child of the 80s, growing up watching a lot of those teams and watching Pat Riley do all the great things that he did across his legacy in this game? How did you feel about being old enough to see the Riley statue?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. Pat had so many disciples, like people who made livings from being around him and learning from him and ultimately, you know what I mean?
Mimicking him, yeah.
So think about it. Dude coached the Showtime Lakers, and he coached the Heat Big Three. And he coached Big Pat Ewing, Big Ewing, in the Garden. He's done it with class, with style, with grace, with tenacity, with accountability. And he's done it like Frank Sinatra. He's done it his way.
Yep.
And I have the utmost respect for Pat Riley. And look at the way his peers view him, right? If you saw all the people who came to that game to see Pat and his wife as they were celebrating that moment, you saw old legends like Magic Johnson. You saw LeBron, despite not being able to get his cookies on the plane. You saw him put all that shit to the side to come and say, Pat, we appreciate you.
Man, I hope after 13, 14 years, I hope so.
Hey, man, it's all love. Sometimes you're going to butt heads and things like that. But, man, Pat Riley has been nothing but a blessing to us in this game of basketball. And we have the utmost respect for him. And you got to really start looking at how your peers view you to really see, like, the energy that you might miss.
Yeah, no, he's the most important figure in Miami Heat history.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like, there is no, like,
without a doubt.
D-Wade, LeBron, like, all these guys, great in their own sense, but pale in comparison to what that guy with the slick back hair and the Armani suit, what he means to this city, to this franchise, and to the league.
Yeah.
Because what he's been able to do has been nothing short of legendary.
Yeah, it has. It has. And, you always got to tip your hat to the Harrison family as well.
Yeah, naturally.
Because
they sign the checks.
Yeah, and not only that, not only do they sign the checks, but they had the confidence to say, hey, Pat, we trust you with running this side of our business.
Right.
And it's grown under their watch. And they've been loyal to one another
100%
this whole time. But, yeah, man, kudos to Pat. Like, every time, I can't wait to go out to, see the statue.
Yeah. Up in the state. Crypto.com Arena.
That's what it is now. Yeah, when I was playing, it was Staples Center.
It's always going to be the Staples Center.
Yeah.
I feel like just like the AAA is always going to be the AAA.
Yeah.
I mean, they call it the Kaseya Center, contractually obligated, whatever. That's the AAA.
It's AAA.
So, all right, KD, fun night of hoops. We've had the last couple of nights have been bangers. So we're getting ready for some more second half action of the NBA, man.
It's about to rev up.
Let's go. Come on. Make sure that you're following and liking everything that we do on social media. Make sure you're liking on YouTube, subscribing on Spotify if you listen to the podcast. Go check us out on video too. We look good. We got that thing on. So go check us out on YouTube at The Crossover. Again, IG, wherever it is that you follow us, go keep showing us love. Keyon Dooling right there. Follow him at Keyon Dooling. It's your boy 10 Day Tony. Follow me at 10 Day Tony everywhere. We'll see you guys next week.